Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access. We are here at Gamescom and I've got another game I'm very excited about. Of course, it is Borderlands 3. So I'm here with Sebastian Chadeau, another fantastic name, who is lead designer at GSQ.
Yeah, Gearbox Studio Quebec.
Yeah, so I'm very
Sorry
excited
for
to
my
have
French
you.
accent.
No, we love French
Okay,
accents.
good.
I want more French accents on the channel.
Cool.
So I guess the first thing I'm going to ask you is, Borderlands is a franchise that we all know and love. It's really unique. It has a very distinct style. So how do you make a third installment without making it more of the same?
Well, just a word, new. Everything is barely new. We have new weapons, new Vault Hunters, new skills, new planet, and much more.
Now let's talk about some of the new, because in particular, planets. This
Yeah.
is something we've always wanted in Borderlands. You know, we're in this fantastical universe. We've wanted to be able to kind of fly away from the sometimes really terrible planets that we're on where everything's gone horribly wrong and we wish we could escape, and we finally can. So why did you introduce new planets, and tell us a bit more about them?
Well, basically, first of all, it was a question. What can we do better for the player? How can we improve the gameplay? And the answer was, well, we have to offer new environments, because with new environment means new enemy, new flora, new architecture, new way of playing, basically. So that's the main reason why we've added those new planets to the game.
And how do you make sure that they still feel like Borderlands? Because Borderlands is in every detail. It's a game that you really get a certain feeling from, and that's definitely something that I think you get in the environments. You know, the environments that we've seen, they've been varied. You know, we've been on different planets before, but they've always felt like Borderlands. How do you weave that through a new planet?
Well, basically, first, most of the team is working on Borderlands since ages. So the guy knows what they are doing. And we've been through tons of testing with fans, and well, I think we get it right.
Now, I also just heard a pretty impressive number in the presentation, which is over 1 billion guns.
Yeah.
I mean, you had me at that. So how do you make them all feel different? Because obviously it's easy to say we've got 1 billion guns if they're procedurally generated and actually they're all going to feel a bit samey, but I've heard they're actually, you know, very distinct.
Yeah, well, they are generally procedurally generated. That's true, but it's just parts matching each other to make a new gun. But every manufacturer in our game, you still have the 8 manufacturers we get before, but with more, have a completely new feeling. Like you have an Atlas gun, which can shoot homing missiles. You have an Hyperion gun, which deploy a shield when aimed on sight. That's completely different from manufacturer to manufacturer. Plus, for many weapons, we have added secondary alternate firing mode, which allow us to just expand the possibility for even one weapon. Like the melee one weapons will be able to switch elements, like firing fire and then cryo, and it will change the gameplay drastically.
So let's talk about the people who'll be using the guns, the Vault Hunters. So again, we've got a whole new range of Vault Hunters. They all look pretty epic. I have to say I'm quite into Amara. She looks amazing. That's my type of Vault Hunter.
Yeah.
So what goes into designing a new Hunter?
Well, basically, you told it. It was giving another feeling for the players. But the main point of Borderlands 3 is that now you have 3 different action skills to choose from. Let's take Amara as an example. Now you can face cast, face slam, and face grasp. You have to choose from those 3 action skills, and it will be completely different for you to play Amara. Like, would you like to be range, have more CC to control the battlefield, or be more in-your-face Amara with a shotgun and go slam the ground? You can do that with only one character. It's not a difference of playstyle only based on the guns now, it's based on your character.
So let's talk villains, because Handsome Jack is like an all-time legendary villain, and I couldn't imagine how you could follow up, but you seem to have done it. These Calypso twins, they seem pretty sinister. So, you know, what was the basis for that? What were you thinking when you thought, let's bring in these obnoxious streamer twins?
Well, first of all, it was how can we be modern about the threat? Now we are talking about streamers. Yeah, that's a modern theme to talk about in a game, and just basically we hope that the player will realize that overall the threat for the galaxy made by those Calypso twins are way greater than Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack was handsome, that's cool, but now we have just the risk of destroying the entire galaxy with all the vault openings. So that's something.
Yeah, no big deal.
No, well, when it's done, it's over. So no big deal, I guess.
So let's talk people who are new to the game, because obviously
Yeah.
this is the biggest and best one yet. We're going to have new people come in. So, is this going to be something that they can just pick up without having played any of the first games?
Yeah, totally. We have closed the narrative arc with Anthem Jack, and everything is brand new. You have new Vault Hunter, new powers, new guns, so that's totally fine to jump in. Not really for the fans. We have some favorites returning. We have just unveiled recently Mr. Torg, who's back with the Circle of Slaughter, but you have Moxie, you have Lilith, all those characters are there, so I think that anyone can jump in and play. We have a totally well-crafted tutorial for new players, so that will work. Even for beginner in shooting games, that will work too. So everyone can come literally. Yeah.
And if you're going to be playing with friends, let's talk about kind of
Yeah.
the co-op. What have you got on offer here? What's different this time around?
All the game can be played, and all the game mode can be played solo. We want the player to be able to jump in at any time and play their game if they want to, but we are big fans of co-op as usual. So we are offering 4-player co-op on all platforms online and 2-player split screen on console. That's a tough feature to maintain technically because, well, you have to make some sacrifices to do that, but we get it because we are definitely thinking that it's something very important for us. And considering co-op, now we have much more interaction between the Vault Hunters' skills. Like you've seen that in the trailers, like you can jump on Moose, Iron Bear as an example, but that's just an example between all the interaction for the Vault Hunters. So it helps co-ops immensely.
And I understand that level isn't going to matter so much when you're playing with friends this time. You're going to have level syncing, so how does that work?
Well, level syncing is brand new to the game. It's basically when you will start a game, you will decide to play cooperatively, and at any point of time, anyone can jump from anywhere to any game because the game is balancing behind the scene the enemy levels, the damage dealt, and the damage taken for the players. So a level 10 Amara can join in a level 30 flag. That game, that's no problem. Plus, we have another mechanic, which is basically all your loots are for you only. Okay, so when it drops, it's for you. You can grab it, nobody will take it, and it will be scaled to your level too. So there is no more irrelevant loots dropping now. You can't equip. It's useless. You just drop it on the ground. But we still are maintaining a co-competitive mode, which is basically the good old Borderlands ninja looting style, and you can decide to up back in the menu and change that at any time.
Okay, so what is the pressure like working on Borderlands 3? Because the more you tell me about it, it sounds like it has been this enormous project, which obviously, of course it has, but there's so many details, there's so many things that, we've thought in previous games, this would be great if, and they all seem to be here. So how does it feel that you're, at the end of this huge journey and about to reveal this much awaited game?
Well, the main impression is to have the fan happy about it, but if you've noticed that, it took us time to get this game done.
Not at all.
But that's just because it's released because we think as each individual in the company that the game is ready to be released. So yes, there's pressure because there's Borderlands 2 before, there's tons of people waiting for that, but we're okay with what we are delivering now, so we're fine.
And how did you come up with the new story? Because again, that's something that I think as the series has gone on, Borderlands has just become known for this really fantastic story. It's something that you've clearly, diverted a focus to and made such a huge part of what Borderlands is. So how do you begin planning a new story for an entirely new title?
Well, basically, it's first of all some narrative dude thinking about what's cool, what's the engaging theme we can take on Borderlands and make it fun, but having the player wanting to consume the content and stuff like that. But a really cool thing at Gearbox is that everyone is totally free to give ideas about the narrative theme. So as an example, you can be a mission guy and definitely have a good idea for a side mission. Well, it will be in the game most of the time it will be in the game. You will go through the narrative people just to be sure that the tone is right, but the gameplay ideas, what you want to do, will be in the game.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's why there is so much side content too, because everyone is here and pushing the content in the game.
So with the Vault Hunters, do you have a favourite? Because I feel like they're so different.
There are. I guess it won't be the same answer if I'm alone or playing cooperatively. I mean, if I'm alone, I like Flag because I want my pet to help me through this harsh existence, you know. So yeah, I will probably make my first solo playthrough with Flag, just going through the main missions, and I will then switch to something cooperative. Probably taking Zane just to be capable of dealing with threat, but with the shield you can help your allies too, so that's a good character for that.
And you mentioned Flack. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think he's kind of won hearts and minds everywhere with those pets. So how did you pick? Because obviously I think two of them are familiar, and then we've got the Jabber, is it? Which is it's something we haven't seen before.
Well, basically, Flack brings to the fight one of the three pets,
Yeah.
A Skag, a Spider Ant, or a Jabber, but you still have some action skills. So you can have your Skag Ferret because you like him, he's so cute, and that's it. But you can still pick the action skill from another tree. Like you want to throw racks, you're free to do that. That's it. You can do whatever you want with Flack.
Yeah, he does look very fun. I'm pretty excited. So you mentioned earlier that this is a game that you want people, whether or not they're, brilliant at FPSs, this is something they should be able to play. So how do you kind of enable that? Because that's not always the case with FPSs. Sometimes there's a high skill ceiling.
Well, basically we have a huge variety of weapons and guns, and it's really allowing us to have a great variety of gameplay. Like you can pick a laser shooting gun with no recoil, it's pretty easy, there's a zoom, you can stay back, you can relax and just shoot the bad guys coming at you, or you can jump into the fray with a huge shotgun, huge recoil, but high damage and high skill cap, I guess. So that's mostly because we have a huge variety of guns that it's helping us to have people committed to the game with, let's say, no risks. But you can still adapt your builds of your character. We were speaking of Flag. You can be completely tanky and turn invisible with fade away, and you will be pretty safe. And you will heal over time, share damage with your pet, or go crazy all in with whatever you want else.
And so one of the places that I've just been trying out all those guns is the Proving Grounds,
Yeah.
which I really love the concept of, that you just land on this planet and just kill everything with a kind of optional side element. So tell us a bit more about that.
Well, the Proving Ground are set up as challenges by an alien race named the Eridians, and basically all along the campaign you will find Eridians' writings. Those writings will just unlock new location in the galaxy, the Proving Grounds. So basically Proving Grounds are a level you will go through with one main mission. If you get to the end, accomplishing this mission, you will have a special chest. But you have additional challenges. If you manage to do those, not dying, making it in time, whatever else, the reward will be increased. So that's a way for us to offer short session of gameplay, like around 30 minutes per game, so that's perfect for lunch. and still have really good reward. We've just played a game yesterday with Scott Kester, who is art director on Gearbox, and we've managed to do it in like 14 minutes, and in the end the chest was full of purples, so that's really worth it.
And we've also got Circle of Slaughter back, which I'm pretty excited about, because obviously we've got a fan favourite returning there. So what was the thinking behind that?
Well, basically, Circle of Slaughter is with the same idea but more mayhem. It's just wave and wave of increasingly difficult enemy. The longer you survive, the better loot you get. And naturally, with the amount of ammo spent in this game mode, it's sponsored by Mr. Torg. You like it? So that's, again, it's a way for us to keep the player engaged and have good loot. Even if you're level maxed, you've completed the campaign, you can still go there, consume this content, and it will be worth it.
And finally, if you had to sell Borderlands 3 to someone who's never played the series before, how would you do it?
That's our biggest game ever, so you have to play it, definitely.
I like it. And I'm going to add 1 billion guns. 1 billion guns!
1 billion guns!
Well, thank you so much for
My
talking
pleasure.
to us.
Thank you.
Well, I have to say, Oh my god, a billion guns, we've got Circle of Slaughter, we've got Mr. Talk. It's going to be amazing. So obviously stay subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you stay up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation Access.
For the players.